of society. In other words, it's not right. You know, I mean, in simple words, no matter how well intended. Like we see the devotee who wrote some poetry and all the devotees going, wow, that's so nice about Mahaprabhu and Jagannath. They play it, recite for Srup Damodar, and he's angry, saying, if Mahaprabhu hears this, I shudder to think what his reaction will be. So from your lower position, you thought this is a nice thing, but your Upasiddhanta, in the words of Guru Maharaj, Upasiddhanta strikes the spinal cord of the proper thinking person. That's an original thing. Upasiddhanta strikes the spinal cord of the proper thinking man, right? Because we think, oh, what's the harm? It's what, some things can be written off as like little children, they do things, and you go, oh, no, 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 don't do that, you know. But you can't forever use the little child excuse. After 10 years, 20 years, 30, 50 years Krishna consciousness, and saying, oh, like when the baby does something, you know, only up to a point. We're supposed to learn gradually. We're learning gradually, I hope. You know, but by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, they're tolerating us and giving us their association. So, Devendra, are we ready to begin or have we begun? We have begun. Okay. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajaka Satara Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj Avirbhav Mahamahotsavatiti Ki Jai. Jai Srila Vyasadev Ki Jai. Sri Vyas Puja Ki Jai. Sri Guru Purnima Ki Jai. Srila Sanatana Goswami Prabhu Tirobhav Mahamahotsavatiti Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajaka Acharya Satara Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundar Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Shyamakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Dham Ki Jai. And today we can say Lakta Dham Ki Jai. Maharaj was born in St. Petersburg, right? Yeah, so Lakta. Lakta Mandal, St. Petersburg Mandal, you know. And Gupta Govardhan Ki Jai. Ganga Devi, Jamuna Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Jai Tulsi Devi Dasi Ki Jai. Vijay Raman Prabhu Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Om Vishnupad Vishpa Varenu Srilesi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Brinda Ki Jai. Sannyasi Brinda Ki Jai. Seva Brinda Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaja Avirbhav Mahamahotsavatiti Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So this day we refer to as, you know, Vyas Puja and Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj. So now his appearance day is on Vyasa's appearance day, and it's the Guru Purnima, so like triple dose, you can say. But Vyasadeva, what is the specialty of Vyas? Revealed truth. Srila Guru Maharaj, he gives us the foundation for all theistic culture. When he said, the man challenged saying, if the finite can know the infinite, he's not infinite. And Guru Maharaj, in his response, laid the foundation for all theistic culture when he said, if the infinite cannot make himself known to the finite, he's not infinite. That's the difference. And what that means by finite means, you're surveying this world. And as beautiful as it is, particularly here, in Gupta Govardhan, it's hard. I wish it didn't look like this so I could give a better example. But as beautiful as it is, it's still the world of misconception. Right? So Guru Maharaj will remind us, the whole thing is false. In the modern world, they talk about fake news, false news, this, that, disinformatia is a Russian word, right? Thank the Russians for introducing that concept into language, right? But the whole world is disinformation. That's the point. All of it. None of it is true. This is hard for people to accept, but to make it more simple, I say that even a child can accept it, and I can prove that during this whole pandemic and everything. So one mother told her son, he said, well, because he's wondering, why is she leaving? Separation anxiety. And she says, well, it's Monday and mommy has to go to work. And the kid said, Monday isn't real. And I thought, this kid has a future as a Vedantist. What he's saying is true. Monday isn't real. It's an invention that we do to navigate the world of misconception. But there's this collective agreement on certain things so we can show up on time, or cut a piece of wood at a particular length or something because we're making a building. But that said, the whole place is false, all of it. So Kaviraj Goswami says, Dvaita, Dvaita, Badre, Sab Mano, Badre, Sab Mano Dharm, E Bal, E Mando, E Sab Brahm. So he says, the whole world is like a misconceived dream. It's a dreamlike world based on misconception. As I've said many times, the body, all the species, the bodies are the biological expression of the soul's delusion, misidentifying, trying to navigate the world of misconception. So what is Kaviraj Goswami saying? So saying, E balo, E manda, saying this is good, that is bad. He said, E sab brahm, the whole thing is a mistake. So he said, well, this is kind of a good mistake, or this is a less bad mistake, or that. Yeah, we do those things, but philosophy, Vedanta Darshan is reminding us that this world, this is the world of illusion, of mortality, of misconception, etc. The whole thing's a mistake. Our whole being here, it's a mistake. So when we talk about Vyas, what is he giving us observations about this world? Things I learned while, living in the material world that I want to share with you today. He's not Google. He's not YouTube. He's not transmitting, what was extracted from Google or heard from YouTube. What is he dealing with? Revealed truth, the infinite making itself known to the finite, which is an amazing thing. So within the world of misconception and this dreamlike world, it's like someone can enter your dream and come before you, Srinvantu Vishay Amritasya Putra, and wake you up from the dream. That's the guru function, the absolute descending and relative circumstance. In our particular relative circumstance. So, but the point being that Vyas and the representative of Vyas They're not dealing with relative knowledge of the misconceived world, but are agents transmitting what's descending from the upper world. That's why Veda, for so long, we would say, Veda means knowledge. But then when we come to Guru Maharaj, he doesn't say that. He says, Veda means know, K-N-O-W, in an imperative sense. It's saying, know this. You understand? That's different. Knowledge is varied. Veda means know this, means without research, without suspicion, without doubt. Here, I'm telling you something that's descended from the upper world, from the infinite to the finite. Know this, and you'll be benefited by it. That's Shrinvantu Vrishe Amritasya Putra. Right? Oh, you sons of nectar, sons of the nectarine ocean sea, please listen to me. You were born from nectar. You're born to taste nectar, and you must not be satisfied with anything but nectar. And Guru Maharaj actually, he's translating Veda, and he's referring to Paradise Lost of Milton, and he's beautifully taken from there, but because it's Satan who says to his satanic army, he says, awake and arise, or forever be in slumber. Forever be fallen. It's what, and Guru Maharaj, that shows you his master. He can take from Milton, from the mouth of Satan, and turn it into Sanatan. Sanatan Dharma. And we're talking about Sanatan Goswami Prabhu as well. But so, revealed truth, that it's not something that you gather through observation. Revealed truth is gifted to you, right? That is the meaning of revealed. Right? So Veda, one sense, know this. What else we're told? Mata, Veda Mata, sometimes called the mother Veda. Hare Krishna. Why? Again, on this theme of know this, is you want to understand the identity of your father. You can do empiric research about males achieve a procreative power at this age, and I have this kind of icon, like you can go that route and then try and gradually narrow it down, right, through search criteria to understand the identity of your father. That's one method. May not be possible even to conclude that type of research and investigation, and may not be reliable or precise, highly accurate. Or hearing from it, you ask your mother, who's my father? She's that man. No research, nothing about eye color, hair color. She goes, that's your father. On the strength of your mother's, authority on this subject, And what do you know? You know something that, how do you say, is, you get knowledge that is beyond your experience by hearing from an authority. That's what it is. Sometimes I give this example in schools in America when I was lecturing, and there would be some kid who'd say something like, well, what if she's lying? And so I'd say, okay, in my example, she's not lying. All right? It's like the set whose members include, all right, in this one, she's not lying. Can you just focus and try, they have to immediately go, what if she's lying? Everybody laugh and remain deluded, right? I stopped giving lectures at a certain age when I didn't notice the calendar. It was Halloween. So they're all in costume and I'm saying, so in your next life, you could be, and I went, okay, all right. As I looked out at the audience. And they're all but anyway, so this point, Veda Mata, again, the authority of the mother, know this. That's what it is. It's revealed truth. It's beyond what is verifiable objectively. Right? It's on the strength of that. So Veda Mata, right? Shruti, what is heard? So Vyas, what does Vyas say in the Bhagavatam? First sloka, the Janma Dyasya Yaton Vayad Ituratas Cha Artesya Vigya Surat Tene Brahma Hrida. Tene Brahma Hridaya Kavaye Muhyanti Yatsuraya. But Tene Brahma Hrida, that's the original that Gurudev renders as heart-to-heart transaction. It's a heart transaction. So it's not Divya Gyan, like the song you're just saying, Divya Gyan Hriday Prokashito. It's not talking about knowledge. Otherwise, it would just say Gyan. Let's say Divya Gyan Hriday Prokashito. That'll be revealed in the heart. That means the heart-to-heart transaction. That means it's about feeling. It's not about information or data. That can be done without feeling. Krishna consciousness is ultimately about feeling. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Sat Chit Anandam means happiness. Right? So we're told in the Das Mul, Amnaya Prahat Tattvam. What is the begin? What does it begin with? Revealed truth. These are the 10 truths. The first thing, revealed truth. Amnaya Prahat Tattvam. And then what is revealed? Harim Iha Paramam. Krishna, Hari, he is supreme. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Sarva Shaktim. The next thing says, and he has many potencies. Like the word potent but Sarva Shakti means also there's a feminine counterpart but they all belong to him. Lakshmi Sahasra Satra Sambrahma Sevyamanam. The first thing, Krishna is the supreme, and it's like saying, and he has many female Shaktis. The Lakshmis of Vaikuntha, the queens of Dwarka, the gopis. That's who Krishna is. It's telling you right away. And who is he? Sarva Shaktim, Rasabdim. And he's an ocean of rasa or ecstasy. Like if that wasn't enough for you to sign, like there's so he's, Amnaya, revealed truth, he's supreme, Sarva Shakti Rasabdim. Do you want to sign it? Or do you need more information to sign this contract? Of what? And Guru Maharaj, eternal slavery. So anyway, that's who Krishna is. And Vedavyas, he's going to reveal this in the Bhagavatam. Why? There's already the Shrutis, the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Mahabharata. What's the necessity of the Bhagavatam? It's because up to this point, people are reading these holy books and thinking, oh, so if I live a dharmic life, then I can be happy in this world. So they're never thinking about leaving it. Just how can you be happy here? So, and that's why Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, Prabhupada quotes in the first, this commentary on the Bhagavatam saying, Mayavadis, by denying the personality of Godhead, they're indirectly denying the prospect of eros. You understand? So that means and we're hardwired with erotic tendencies. So that would mean, then you'll think the only place you can express that tendency is in this world. There's no such thing in the upper world. Because mukti means blah, blah, blah. So the Bhagavatam says, no, mukti arhat banyatas rupam swarupena vibhasiti. In your swarup, this prospect is there in the upper world with Krishna. Hear about the pastimes of Krishna and Radharani and Braja Gopis and celebrate that. So anyway, so Vedavyas, he's come with this information, or excuse me, you can say this type of information, but it's transferred from the heart. Right? So then we have to know, what is in the heart of Krishna that's being transferred? Right? Sadhavo hridayam mahyam, ahang bhakta pradino. Krishna is saying, as I am in the heart of my devotees are in my heart. Right? So that means that Krishna also wants us to know the glories of his devotees, to have a real and substantial Krishna conception you have to have appreciation for the devotee, Achuta Priya, in the highest sense, Srimati Radharani. And I can say, as aspiring members of the Krishna consciousness movement, when after, you could say 10 years, to use a number, we came in connection with Srila Guru Maharaj, there's two things that you're overwhelmed by in his association. And to quote a phrase, you could say, Radhar Mahima Prema Rasasima, means the greatness of Radharani, and that means include Mahaprabhu, Krishna celebrating her greatness, and Prema Rasa, not only Prem, but the highest type of Prem, Mahabhav. Radharani is called Mahabhav Chintamani Swarup. Right? I mean, you come in connection with her, and you come in connection with the highest type of Krishna Prem. So I could say, that is my experience in coming in connection with Srila Guru Maharaj. And so this overwhelming presence of Srimati Radharani and Mahaprabhu. So your shift goes from, and with Krishna to Radharani, Mahaprabhu, right? So that is the line of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. So Veda Vyas, or we could say, put it this way, Vishwanath Chakrabarti takes us there more succinctly. Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Tvanayas Tadama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachir Upasana Brajabadu Bargena Jakalpitai. He's saying there is no superior type of worship than that which was conceived by Srimati Radharani and the Braja Gopis. That's what he's saying. That's what the Bhagavatam is about. So Narada is telling, Vyasa is going, I don't understand. I gave Mahabharata, I gave Upanishads, I gave Puranas, I gave all these things. Why do I feel like this? What's wrong? Narada is saying, you need to tell them straight about Radha and Krishna and the Braja Gopis. How to do that? All right, I'll give you 10 slokas and then you fill in the rest. So he gives 10 slokas. So then we see 10 cantos to get to. His whole point is to take you there, to the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, right? To take you into that domain, and how masterfully and wonderfully he's doing that from the beginning. Nigama kalpatur gali tampalam. See, only Veda Vyas can say these things with the utmost authority. He can say, that Veda Kalpataru with all those different books, and yes, we know it's overwhelming. There's so many, and we can't some are going this way, some seem to be saying this, that. No, they are meant to produce one thing, this fruit. And what is the fruit, this nectarine fruit? It's called Madhura Rasa. Nigama Kalpataru Galitam Pulam Shukamukaram Ritya Javashamita Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhubi Babukaha. This is the purpose of this book. This is the purpose of all the Vedas, Upanishads, everything, is to bring you in connection with this inconceivably wonderful nectarine substance. This is the purpose of the churning of the milk ocean. Yadamima Mahima Sri Bhagavatam Katayam Pratipadam Anubhutam Apya Labdavidea Tadakila Rasa Murti Shamalila Avalambam Madhura Rasadi Sri Radha Padmam Prabhadye. We're saying, although her name is not mentioned, every step of the way in the Bhagavatam is meant to take you to one place, the service of the holy lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. That's what he's saying. That's what the book is about. I thought it was about Krishna. Yes, and if you want substantial Krishna conception, you have to come in connection with her. She's the distributor of Krishna. Right? You say, well, what about if I go direct? Why do I need to go through somebody? As a finite jiva and then infinite Krishna, you're going to exchange with him. Right? Sun-like magnitude of charm, sweetness, ecstasy, and then the ray. How much can you interact, reciprocate? Who is she? Mahabhav Swarupini Radha Thakuran. She is his counterpart, as inconceivable, his equal, or as I like to say, the better half of the sweet absolute, what do you think she can extract from Krishna? It's called Mahabhav, a type of Krishna prem that is unthinkable, unattainable. But Guru Maharaj says, but serve her at her greatest time of need, and she's saying, here, have a taste of what I'm experiencing. And Guru Maharaj said, once you taste that divine substance, what to speak of all other taste, all other rasas become tasteless. And I'm telling you, you come in connection with Srila Guru Maharaj and you get a taste of this divine substance. That is the unique distinction of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. That's why, and we will get to this, why Gurudev's mission is to promote Srila Guru Maharaj and his conceptions, because he knows where this goes. It goes to this zone, to this plane. That's all he's about. He knows that, and he wants to bring others in connection with that, and he's accepted all of us as assistant or aspiring servitors to assist him in that seva. But it's of distributing this and nothing less than this, right? So this Chakravarti Thakur was saying, so this is what, there's nothing superior to what was envisioned by Braja Gopis. Why did Krishna come down as Mahaprabhu? To say, there's nothing greater than this. I've been converted. What to speak of you? Right? Radharani's heart has converted Krishna into a devotee. What greater achievement can there be? And he's come down like a madman telling everybody to follow them. Like in Gita, he says, Ahang, what is it? Vedaishcha sarvara ahang eva vedyo. Vedanta vid, Vedakrit eva chan. Like, and it's almost like funny, but like Krishna saying like, hey, I wrote the Vedas. They come from me. I'm what is to be known. I mean, I'm sorry to, I don't want to sound arrogant, but like they're about me. All right, and through someone else, I move their hand and make them say these things, but happily, they're not forced. So Vedaisha and all these Vedas, Upanishads, Mahabharata, what is to be known? Me, Ahangeva Vedyo. And that me descended as, in case you might have gone off track or got a little confused, he came as Mahaprabhu to tell you what? That there's nothing superior than the Krishna prem of Radharani and the Braja Gopis. I've come to experience that. You should also experience that. Chant the name of Krishna and cultivate this type of devotion. Gopi Bhav. Right? So in this verse, then Guru Maharaj, when he's explaining, and if someone says, what is the evidence that what the gopis do? Like, this is the highest thing. Maybe you're just, saying it, or you're just crazy about the Braja Gopis. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam means Amala Pramanam, means spotless. The implication being in other places, it might be a little, what's the word? There might be some modification, adulteration for consumption. This one, amala, means, no, this is pure spiritual substance, what is given here. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam, and then what? It's about dharma, it's about artha, kama, moksha. He says, no, prem, pumartha mahan, the fifth end of life. Beyond that, that can be mundane. Right? This is saying what your heart aspires for ultimately is prem, Krishna prem, prema pumarto mahan. And then Guru Maharaj said, and then how did you learn all these things? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatrapi Napara. From Mahaprabhu, who's Krishna himself, come to teach these things. So in other words, if Krishna were to come and tell us, what should we focus on? What should we concentrate on? It would be these things. And then what does Mahaprabhu turn to Rupa Goswami and give his line to him? And what does he say? Oh, because when he was with the Nawab, he learned how to manage crazy Bengalis. So I think he's qualified. No. He's saying, Rupa, tell us those slokas you've written. Tunde Tanda Vinivatanda, oh that, and other slokas from his, like, that's the evidence. That he said, that's why I've selected him. That's why I've given the full treasure of my heart to him, because he can write things like this, right? Then, and that Rupa Goswami, who do we hear? Sanatan Goswami Prabhu, and his Brihad Bhagavatamritam, he says, I'm a Rupa Nuga. Even though Rupa Goswami will revere Sanatan as senior guru and higher, Sanatan will say, but I'm a Rupa Nuga, follower of Sri Rupa also. And so he perfectly is presenting and his Brihad Bhagavatamritam. So they're taking from Mahaprabhu, like Guru Maharaj says about this, what is the, our line in Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, what is understood, what we're revealing about Mahaprabhu, or his descent is known only to Swarup Damodar. We just celebrated this in Rath Yatra, right? What do we find there? That Radharani and the Braja Gopis cannot conceal their disappointment with Dwaraka Krishna. They only want Vrindavan Krishna. Krishna with the flute, cowherd, that Krishna on the banks of the Jamuna, the moonlight shining on him in the appropriate season. They're very particular about Krishna, right? So Dwaraka Krishna is not good enough for them, right? So what is Rath Yatra? That meeting where they express their disappointment, then they're going to pull Krishna by the ropes of love and affection and take him back to Vrindavan forcibly, and he's also feeling separation from them, right? Dwaraka is not enough for him. What's in the heart of Krishna? So what is that Krishna conception being translated from Krishna to Brahma in our to Veda Vyasa in our line? So Sanatan Goswami, he's presenting that perfectly. And as Guru Maharaj said, Rupa Goswami and the others, they're extending it through their writings. And then Raghunath Das, who praises Sanatan Goswami by saying, Vairagya Yug Bhakti Rasa Prayatne, that he forced me to drink this nectarine cup of renunciation, right? Of really, that Sarvadharma of the Braja Gopis. They give up all concepts of Dharma, Braja Sharanam, to answer the call of the flute song of Krishna. So he's saying, so Raghunath Das, and he's tasting it, it's becoming enhanced in the process. Jiva Baladev, they're protecting it. Then what is it? He's saying, this is Bhakti Vinod Thakur's gift to the world. Again, Sri Radha Padasevanam Ritamaho Tadatum Yashobhavam. This is your gift to the world, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. The service, nectarine service of the holy lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And so that's Bhakti Vinod's gift. And Saraswati Thakur has come to distribute this treasure. And then Srila Prabhupada Swami Maharaj takes it all over the world, right? So Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj, he first comes in contact with, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, right? And he's resonating with that. But like we say, the journey of Gopa Kumar, he's with legitimate devotees in different circumstances, but it may not totally satisfy his heart where he is. So some actually senior disciple of Prabhupada comes and goes, Bhakta George, I think you might want to, meet Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj. That might be a more appropriate connection for you. Then he meets Srila Gurudev, and the rest, as they say, is, history. But interestingly, so what does Gurudev tell him? So he's in America, right, successfully. They have a saying, is a song about New York, called New York, New York, right? Where the line says, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere, right? So he made it in New York. This kid from Russia, goes to America and is a success. there. Then when he meets Gurudev, what does Srila Govinda Maharaj tell him? Initiate him and tell him, go to Russia. Go back to Russia. Avadhut Maharaj was not, think about it. He was not planning on going back to Russia. But Gurudev told him, you should go to Russia. And then what does Gurudev tell him? Say, and there, give my teachings to everyone. That's not what he told him. He said, go to Russia and take Guru Maharaj's teachings, Guru Maharaj's concept. Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sridhar Deva Goswami. That's what I want you to take to Russia. The Susiddhanta of Srila Guru Maharaj. What did I say before? You come in connection with Guru Maharaj, these two things. Radharani and Mahaprabhu, you will be overwhelmed with their conception. Right? So he's saying, you take that to Russia. There may be Krishna consciousness movement there already on a certain level, but you take Guru Maharaj's conception there. And where did that come? Translating Sri Guru and His Grace and other books. And we know Vijay Raman Prabhu, particularly, and Satya Sundar and other, but Vijay Raman Prabhu. So arranging to have Guru Maharaj's books translated and then broadcast in Russia. So by the time I came there, and that was with, at the, how do you say, the suggestion and the blessings, the auspices of Srila Gurudev. He told me, because I said, what service do you want from me? And he said, I have this disciple, his name Jagannath Ballabha Prabhu. He said, he has some extraordinary capacity and big preaching is going on in Russia. So if you can help with that, Hare Krishna, Dhanyavad, Dhanyavad. So, so why did I say that? Because, so what I was surprised to find, so when I come there, you know, let's say Hare Krishna, please join us. And when I was in Russia in 1978, right? Like you could say incognito. You know? And so that means Soviet Union, right? And in Petersburg also, and it's funny because later we found maybe Vijay Raman was walking his two sons on Nevsky Prospect. Think about it. I could be walking down that street and then Vijay Raman Prabhu and Avadhut Maharaj and Satya Sundar come walking by as children. Because some mysterious things did happen there. That's another subject. But anyway, so at that time, and we have to be very clever and cautious about how we present what it is we're doing, as you can imagine better than me. Right? But my point is, so that's 1978. Come back again in the year 2000, after Avadhut Maharaj has now started spreading not only Krishna consciousness, but Guru Maharaj's Chaitanya Saraswat conceptions. And so, like, I'll ask someone from like, are there any questions? And someone will say, yes. In Sri Guru and His Grace, it says, and I'm like, they're quoting Sri Guru and His Grace to ask me questions. So how, like, what's the word? Like Richter scale, exponential magnitude, things have increased by Srila Avadhut Maharaj's beginning the campaign of promoting Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev in, you could say, the new Russia. Because I like to say that, you know, the Russian Revolution began and when 1917 in St. Petersburg and that Aurora ship, right? You know, auroras like Arun, like we say Udila Aruna, the sunrise. So it has some metaphoric significance, like where the sun's rising and revealing something new. So I would say sometimes, how wonderful that like 100 years later, the campaign for the new revelation would come from the same place in the city of St. Petersburg, and more specifically, Lakta. And sometimes we would hear that the people in Lakta, you'd see them on the sand with, what do you call it, metal detectors, because they said there's some hidden treasure in Lakta. So people be out there on the sand, like, you know, they think they're going to find gold or silver or something, you know, with their mining. But so we used to smile and say that after Srila Avadhut Maharaj brought Guru, Gauranga, and Radha Madhava Sundar, the first life-size, you know, human-sized deities of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Radharani, and Krishna, and had them installed in Russia, like that in fact was the hidden treasure of Lakta. But people still are, there's the deities, and still they're going out there in the sand with their metal detector. But gradually, some people understanding. So, and when I first went there, that it was at the time Srila Avadhut Maharaj was inviting Srila Gurudev to come for the inauguration of Jagannath Express. So I'd come 1 month earlier, and it just looked like a bombed out building from Beirut or something. You know, it was like, and I was like, oh no, you know. And then Avadhut Maharaj showed me some oven or something. He goes, that cost $20,000. And I'm just getting to know him, and I go, is there anyone who knows how to use it? And he says, yeah, my uncle. He was, you know, chef in a 5-star hotel in New York. And you're like, oh, okay. So, but anyway, so we meet there. The whole place is rubble, right? Underground, and the cement broken, and like, you know, and Gurudev's coming in a month. So I'm going to like, all right, I'm going to go preach. I'm going to go to the Ukraine and other places and preach, and come back in a month when Gurudev comes. Come back in a month, and it's completely transformed into Jagannath Express, right? So then he invites Gurudev, and there's the press, and there's the opening of the Jagannath Express restaurant. To this day, super successful, and like, I don't know, a dozen other ones. And at that time, and only Avadhut Maharaj can get this type of compliance from Srila Gurudev. He says to him, there's all the press there. And Gurudev's like wondering what to, and Avadhut Maharaj comes up and he goes, okay, you're a guru and you just came from India, bless everybody. And Gurudev, yes, Maharaj. And then so he goes, they turn on the cameras, and Srila Gurudev, I am a guru and I am just now coming from India, and I want to give, you know, Mahaprabhu's blessings to everyone. And that's on the evening news. So, and one time Avadhut Maharaj is making a festival there, and the news get like, and what is that park? Like, I don't know, Gorky Park or some park, huge park. And he is anticipating that 50,000 people will come to the festival or more. And the news gets out about that. So the government comes to tell him, like, you can't do this. It's too big. You know? And religious festivals, but you know, you can't. You know. So Avadhut Maharaj told me, he said, if you stop us, then you're going to get really bad press for doing that. You're going to look really bad for stopping us. But I'll tell you what I can do. I can make it smaller, like as a compromise. So they realize, yeah, he's right. If we go ahead, we're going to look like the bad guys. And So it's smaller. So you go to this festival, there's 25,000 people there. And Avadhut Maharaj comes to Srila Gurudev and is apologizing that there's only 25,000 people. What for anyone else would be like the festival of a lifetime, he's apologizing that there's only 25,000 people. And incidentally, at that time, and we're told, like, don't say anything overtly religious or, Hare Krishna, And Gurudev, I'm sitting next to him the whole thing, and he keeps writing some things in Bengali on a napkin. The ambassador's coming, this person, that, and Gurudev keeps just writing these little things in Bengali on a napkin, like his talking points. And then he goes up there, and now it's the state, 25,000 people, all the dignitaries there. And what say you, Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj? And then Gurudev says, this is a cultural festival, an Indian cultural festival. And he says, but it is not possible to conceive Indian culture without Krishna. And then he talked. That's how he brought Krishna into he said, we can't think of Indian culture without Krishna. So many times, Srila Avadhut Maharaj arranged these incredible festivals, once on Nrsimha Chaturdashi in St. Petersburg. And he's putting his lifeblood into the promotion of Srila Gurudev. On that Nrsimha Chaturdashi, he brought some devotees, but they're like professional actors to do like Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj, Nrsimhadev. So, but Avadhut Maharaj is so busy organizing everything that he's vanished, he's just behind the scenes. So Gurudev's sitting there watching, and then, Hiranyakashipu, then Nrsimhadev comes out, takes Hiranyakashipu because of his devotion for Prahlad Maharaj. He can't tolerate the Prahlad's being abused. And he puts Hiranyakashipu in his lap and tears him apart. And then everyone cheers. And then at the end, the actors, they're all taking a bow for their performance. And I'm sitting next to Gurudev and we're thinking like, oh, I wish Avadhut Maharaj could be here to, see how much Gurudev is enjoying this. But then you see Nrsimhadev take off his lion head, it's Avadhut Maharaj. So, in so many ways, he arranged every year for Gurudev to come there, have huge festivals. Srila Govinda Maharaj said about Avadhut Maharaj, some mysterious power is working on his behalf because his only thoughts are how to promote the treasure of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat that comes from Srila Guru Maharaj, promoted, enhanced by Srila Gurudev. He's giving his lifeblood, as you all know, to extend the unique contribution of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat to the world. Because as I said before, there's generic Krishna consciousness, then there's the specific quality of Krishna conception that's coming from Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat in this line, and Srila Gurudev acknowledged him in this role and as the Acharya of the Russian mission to promote Srila Guru Maharaj's divine conceptions, and to this day it's expanding. Maybe, I don't know, 11 centers or more if you think of, Lakhta, Moscow, Tomsk, Abkhazia, Sochi, Crimea, Kiev, Govindaland, here, Los Angeles. I might have left something out, but in all these different places, so much expansion since Srila Gurudev left the world. And I know to show that it's an ongoing, living, dynamic and growing seva. So Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj ki Jai. I want to let some others say something. I already took up so much time. Is Paramananda Prabhu there? I can't see. Huh?
Yes, Maharaj, I'm
there,
here.
yes.
But I'm also seeing Dasa Anudas, who is our dear Srila Madhusudhan Maharaj online.
All right. Well, I didn't see. Yes. So, yeah, but
so
we're already hearing your voice. So you say something, and then we'll go to Madhusudhan Maharaj next.
Anyhow, Maharaj, wonderful description of Avadhut Maharaj's glories, no doubt. And listening to you, remembering how he went to United States, New York, how he met Srila Gurudev, that reminded me a story, Hare Krishna, a story from the pages of Chaitanya Charitamrita, given us by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So when Mahaprabhu, he started his South Indian tour, and we know he traveled for several years, and all he did was distributing the holy name, preaching about Krishna, converting everybody into Krishna devotees. So on his first stop in Kurmakshetra, he meets this Brahman who is very pious. And by the power of association with Mahaprabhu, the Brahman is converted. In fact, his heart is completely captured by Mahaprabhu. So he cannot conceive life without Mahaprabhu. So when Mahaprabhu is about to leave, he just started his journey, the Brahman says, it's impossible for me not to be in your company. I want to follow you. I'm leaving everything behind and I'm following you. Mahaprabhu is saying, no, this is not what I like you to do. And then it's a famous verse, Yaride Katarikaha Krishna Upadesh Amaragyan Hurhana Tara Edesh. Mahaprabhu is saying, wherever you go, whatever you do, talk about whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna, spread the glories of Krishna. This is my instructions to you. And then he continues, he says, Kabunaba hibitomara vishayataranga, punarape eitanya pabimora sangha. He said that if you do that, I fully back you. I give you I empower you completely. In fact, if you just follow that, you will never lose my association. I always gonna be with you. So that's reminded me about Avadhut Maharaj. In a similar way, Gurudev, he's going on his maybe second or maybe third world tour. And during that time, he's meeting with Srila Avadhut Maharaj. And a similar exchange happens. So Avadhut Maharaj's heart is captured by Srila Gurudev. And all he wants to do is to be in his company. But like you said, Gurudev sends him back to Russia. Actually, he expresses his heartfelt desire. It wasn't maybe a direct order, but Srila Avadhut Maharaj, he takes that order to his heart. And by doing that, he becomes empowered to distribute Guru Maharaj's glories, Srila Gurudev's glories, and the glories of all Guru Varga. We can trace it to Mahaprabhu himself. So he does it and he goes to Russia, and the rest is the history. And the history is, it's continuous and it's very dynamic, as we know, like Maharaj mentioned so many things about Avadhut Maharaj. So I don't want to be redundant about it, Jai. And another thing we were saying about Avadhut Maharaj's nature, yesterday we were discussing with Rishikesh Maharaj during our meeting in Abkhazia, how Rupa Goswami, he tells us about Yukta Vairagya, Nasaktase Vishayam Yayartha Upayunjitaka, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. He says that everything what exists here in this world is meant for Krishna service. And that will be a proper renunciation. So who else? I mean, I don't know anybody else who can engage practically anything in Krishna service. It is just amazing. I mean, we can understand the festivals more or less. Even the hippie gatherings turn into Krishna festivals. We can conceive of that. More difficult to conceive a samurai culture, a samurai exhibition turned into a very successful preaching event. Even domes, that is difficult to conceive, but even domes can be used in Krishna consciousness in the service to the Lord. Anyhow, I mean, Maharaj is very charitable, his heart is very big, he is very tolerant, and he is always sharing. That is another quality of Avadhut Maharaj. If he gets some service, no matter how valuable it is, he wants to share it immediately. with everyone. He is not taking it all for himself. He is giving it, distributing the service. Anyhow, Maharaj, there are so many other devotees in line waiting to glorify Srila Avadhut Maharaj. So maybe our dear Srila Madhusudan Maharaj can say a few words.
Yes, very nice.
And there he is.
Hare Krishna. Oh yes. Madhusudan Maharaj. Is he there? Not? You see Das Anu Das? Oh. Okay. All right. So Bhakti Lalita Devidasi, you can say something. Pardon me?
Sure, we don't have Madhusudan Maharaj yet.
Yes.
So this is a very joyful day for all of us who know and love Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj. The day he appeared in this world, which is also Guru Purnima, and the day of Guru, the day Vedavyas appeared, Guru Puja Day, and honoring Gurus and the full moon, very effulgent day. And on this day, Srila Avadhut Maharaj appeared in the home of Vijay Raman Prabhu, and his beloved mother, who's also a Vaishnava, Tulsi Maharani.
Tulsi Devi.
Tulsi
Yeah.
Devi. And so many things we appreciate so much about Srila Avadhut Maharaj, who was first known to us as Jagannath Vallabha Prabhu, which is a very dear name to Srila Gurudev, and who joined the Mat as just enthusiastic, ready for anything, and very much powerful, even as a Grihasta devotee, as Jagannath Vallabha. He did so many things for the Russian mission, establishing the very first vegetarian restaurant in Russia. Maharaj was talking about that. And once when we were in Navadvip, in the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, Madhusudan Maharaj was putting on his shortwave radio. And from Navadvip, we started listening to the BBC News International. And at that, just at that moment, they were interviewing Avadhut Maharaj as Jagannath Vallabha, as Georgi. He came on the radio. He was being interviewed about opening the very first vegetarian restaurant in Russia. And what, how inconceivable is that?
Yeah.
And the interviewer was just amazed that, how can you do this in a country still lingering atheism and communism and no vegetarians? And Avadhut Maharaj answered on the radio station, these two negatives have made a positive. And we're seeing people are embracing vegetarianism, and they like Jagannath. Some of them have heard of Jagannath, and we're familiarizing people with Jagannath and bringing in cultural festivals. It's not just a restaurant, but...
Remember, also, Jagannath Express, for people who don't know, that's a train that goes from Howrah Station to Jagannath Puri, the Jagannath Express. So Maharaj took his New York experience, how they do express food in a particular way, and it had not been experienced yet in Moscow. So it was like first vegetarian restaurant, but also this New York style of dining and purchasing. It was a new thing and became tremendously successful.
And it also has an exposition center below it, perfectly
Yes.
located for all of our festivals.
Yes.
Every year, Avadhut Maharaj would have
New Age exhibition.
New Age exhibition taking place there, using many names and many
Wearing many hats.
just bringing in the devotees somehow or another to preach to everyone, to give them Krishna consciousness, and to be available for all the visitors to the exposition. And so we saw he did so many things. He established Moscow Temple and Lakta, St. Petersburg Temple, and the famous article that Srila Gurudev cut out of the Times of India.
Yes.
That
Chaitanya Temple on Lenin's doorstep.
Yes. When Gurudev returned from St. Petersburg after installing Shishi Guru Gauranga Radha Madhava Sundar and thereby inaugurating the temple in St. Petersburg, some news reporters came and interviewed Srila Gurudev about that. And it was in the Times of India. And that was a very proud moment for Srila Gurudev, who always appreciated that name of the article, and that India is appreciating so much what is going on. The Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math established in Russia, Chaitanya's temple on Lenin's doorstep in Russia. And we can give credit to Avadhut Maharaj, but he will give it back to Srila Gurudev. We see this spirit in him from the very beginning of selflessness, of always offering all prestige, honor, glories to Sri Guru. So, such a servitor he was from the beginning and still is to this day, doing everything very dynamic, heartfelt, and inspired service only for the glory of Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas as well, bringing forward all the Vaishnavas, engaging everyone, trying to get everyone to participate somehow in the Russian mission and empowering. We saw how he would take people from the streets and introduce them to us. He's the PR manager of Moscow Temple, and he just joined yesterday. This is very common for Avadhut Maharaj, just grabbing someone into his circle and empowering them, embracing them, giving them full facility to serve. And that includes myself. I've heard Goswami Maharaj say also he's being engaged by Avadhut Maharaj in the service of Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj's preaching mission, and providing a stage for all of us to preach on, providing us a beautiful place to live and serve and to take shelter of. Giriraj Govardhan's lotus feet. And we saw when Srila Avadhut Maharaj took sannyas, it was not so much of a difference. It didn't really matter so much because he was already so powerful and just helping the preaching and seeing Srila Gurudev choosing the name Avadhut, Bhakti Bimal Avadhut, for his extraordinary nature of being of an Avadhut nature, seeing that quality before in him, and his beyond the rules and regulations, beyond the stereotype of a Vaishnava, and having that nature. And we've heard sometimes devotees saying, thank God Gurudev gave him that name, because it's perfect, and it gives us an idea of who we're dealing with. He may not be able to follow all the formalities in any given situation, but his heart is there, his dedication is there, and he's wholly given over. So there's so many things we love about him: his big heart, generous heart, loving nature, very jolly. When I think of Avadhut Maharaj, that's the first thing I think of, how jolly he is all day and night, and always playful and energetic, and really a dear member of our Gurudev service group for all eternity. So there's so many others we'd like to hear from, and I'll hand the mic over now. Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj ki jai. Avirbhav Maha Utsav Titi ki jai.
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanandi.
Hare Krishna. Do we have Madhusudana Maharaj yet? No? Ananga, want to speak? You can speak in Russian too, or Tulsi is not here? Oh. Remember, in the evening, can meet and have a pure Russian celebration. I mean, where people can just express, I apologize to you, you know, that it's like as if it's for me. It's not supposed to be for me. You're not supposed to be speaking for me in English, but so you can just speak in Russian. I mean, speak from your heart.
Да, сюда говорить, да, слышно? 10 лет назад, когда присоединилась к Лахтинской миссии, вот, мне казалось, что уже так много у них всего происходит, и фестивали, и выставки огромные, и все. Что же можно как бы делать в этом случае? Наверное, то есть долго ощущалась ненужность, и как бы непонятно было, куда как бы присоединиться в этом большом движении Махараджа, но со временем, как бы уже вот прошло 10 лет, и можно видеть, что выставкам и каким-то проектам его нету конца, и они безграничны, только увеличиваются и увеличиваются с каждым разом. Вот, и когда Виджай Роман нам звонит и спрашивает, ну что, как у вас дела? И всегда есть ему ответить: Виджай Роман, ну, нам некогда страдать, мы все время заняты на проектах Авадхут Махараджа. Вот, и поэтому мы очень удачливы, что его проекты бесконечны, и нам хватит еще не на одну жизнь, и надеемся, да, что он продолжит нас занимать служением, которое у него еще много в запасе. Джай Шрила Бхакти Бимал Авадхут Махарадж ки джай.
Srila Guru Maharaj said about Srila Prabhupada that Swami Maharaj, that he has always come with some engagement for him. Like, remember, in Prabhupada's humility, he thinks like, oh, Sridhar Maharaj, he's the best preacher. I got to take him to meet Gandhi or Nehru, and so he's always coming to him and saying, come on, you and me, let's go. And Guru Maharaj is, you know, hesitating, but afterwards, when we all came from the West and everything, and Gurudev later said about it, he said, we're still taking Swami Maharaj's prasad, meaning like all of you have come because of him. maybe you're my disciples, right? But really you've come to me because of what Swami Maharaj did. That's what he meant by saying, we're still taking his prasad. But Guru Maharaj would say, where are you gonna find a better friend in the world than someone who's like repeatedly giving you service opportunities? And as Ananga is saying, like, and endlessly, there's never any shortage of service opportunities if you're around Avadhut Maharaj. And it's just his nature to extend to others. Like we're in Vrindavan once and Manasaganga and going to go to like Radha Kunda, you know, all these places. And so I'm saying like, just me, Avadhut Maharaj, myself, and maybe one other person. So we start, and by the time we go through the local Govardhan town, he's collected another like 20 or 30 people. Now we have this party of 30 and we're moving. And I kept saying, Maharaj, you know, like it just needs to be like you and me and one other, you know, because it's gonna be like a very intimate, high level, esoteric kind of thing, you know? But it was like, he's like, okay. So he has to say like, buy them all tea, you know, like, but his nature was just to create this group. And these are people we've never met before. I'm not talking about our devotees. These are just people he like collected along the way. And we're now part of this moving parikrama party. You know? So I had to say, Maharaj, please, you know, I need to like tell you some special things. And the other person who was with, and we ended up that way. But it was just one example. And always, he knows also how to market something, promotion, how to promote, and not just for the public, but to us, how to hold our interest. So he knows like, if we go preaching, I'll be excited to go to Siberia. You know, like that'll be a big deal for someone like me. So we're in this place, you know, we're in Izhevsk, right? So at the end of like a week of preaching in Izhevsk, we're at the airport and then some woman from America recognized him and she goes, hey, how are you? Oh, hi, how are you? I said, so how do you like Siberia? And she goes, this isn't Siberia. And I go, what do you mean? It's Siberia. No, this is not Siberia. And I turned to Avadhut Maharaj because he told me we were going to Siberia. And I said, Maharaj, the whole week, I'm giving like Siberia kind of examples about negativity and snow and 30, but you know, like, and now she's telling me this isn't actually Siberia. And Avadhut Maharaj says, it's like Siberia. So why did he do that? Because he knows if he tells me we're going to Izhevsk, what's the specialty of Izhevsk? But if he tells me we're going to Siberia, like, oh, wow, that's exciting. Now there is some excitement because that girl won the gold medal for ice skating, right? And Indu Lekha's from Izhevsk. That's why it's special to me. But I'm just saying, so he knows how to do that. But so many times he was, you know, make a big festival somewhere and rent this huge hall. And then we get there and there's, like I've said, you know, there's 75 people. We expect like 3,000. There's 75 people. 50 of them are our own people. The other 25, like 10 are from ISKCON. 5 people were just lost, you know, and then another 5 are just crazy, insane, legally insane. You know, and we do these festivals like that. And so sometimes he would see maybe, I mean, I'm happy to preach to one person who's interested, but he thinks maybe there's some disappointment on my part, or maybe I have some doubt about his capacity or what he can do. So we have this festival in Zaporozhye in Ukraine, and I'm driving there and I'm in a traffic jam. I'm in a real traffic jam. The only place I've ever experienced these traffic jams are on the way to a rock concert. So I thought maybe there's some famous group, you know, giving a concert in Ukraine, you know. And then when we finally get to the site of our event, I realized the traffic jam is Avadhut Maharaja's program. That's the traffic jam. And I get there and look in the theater, and there's 3,000 seats, and they're all occupied. And people dress very nicely, and there's a stage, and on the stage there's Avadhut Maharaj in one of his disguises, you know, and next to him Indubala, right? And they're the hosts of this show. And they actually had to ask someone to get up to give me a seat. There are no seats. And then what does Avadhut Maharaj introduce me? I walk on the stage, there's 3,000 people. And I give a talk about the festive nature of Goloka, you know, the spiritual world, where all speech is song and all movement is dance. So I can talk to them instantly about the Brahma Sankirtan, Krishna Loka. But he's given me a platform to come up and do the injection. Or what he would say, he would say, you are like an assassin. You know, you wait all day, you know, by the wind, and then when the kill shot comes, psh, that's to give the Krishna injection, right? You can edit this part out. It's an example. You understand that, like, that moment, you get that moment to the kill shot, the injection will come to give them Krishna conception. So that he believes in me that I can do that is a wonderful thing. But without him, I wouldn't have the opportunity to do it. You understand? That is our teamwork. We're not competing with one another. I specialize in that. He specializes in making the big stage, promotion, platform to give that opportunity, right? So then I thought, thinking back to Guru Maharaj, saying about something like, where are you going to find a better friend? And I thought, where am I going to find a better friend than Srila Avadhut Maharaj, who gives me innumerable opportunities to this day and into the future to represent Guru Maharaj's unparalleled, beautiful Krishna conception. You need an audience. And then back to again, Saraswati Thakur. Sometimes I would think, oh, again, Saraswati Thakur said of Madhava Maharaj, Bhakti Daita, Srila Bhakti Daita Madhava Maharaj, Gaudiya Mat, Guru Maharaj would always go, High Grieve Brahmachari. Because even though he became a Maharaj, he was known mostly as High Grieve Brahmachari in those days. So about him in his lifetime, Saraswati Thakur said about Madhava Maharaj, he goes, he is a man of volcanic energy. That's what he said. I thought, who does that remind me of? And then Guru Maharaj said further, so Guru Maharaj is Chaitanya Saraswat Madhava Navadip with his Susiddhanta. Madhava Maharaj would come to get Guru Maharaj's association, but he said when he was there, he's got 5 different programs with 5 different groups of devotees going on simultaneously. And I thought, who does that remind me of? Who's got maybe 11 groups of devotees in different places around the world with programs going on simultaneously. 24, like Avadhut Maharaj's day never ends, because it may end where he is, but then it's, if the time zone in another part of the world, he keeps going. The other day when I last talked to him, so it's my time, it's a particular time I'm talking to him, he goes, well, it's 5 a.m., time for me to go to sleep. And you're like, I wake up at 4. All right, that's when Maharaj may be going to take rest. All right. So again, Guru Maharaj is saying, where are you going to find a better friend than someone who's giving you endless service opportunities? So is anyone else, either online or here live, would like to say something? Hare Krishna.
Maybe some disciples?
I'm saying anyone who has like some, their heart is on fire and they just have to say something. Right? No, I mean, it doesn't have to be completely on fire. But at least medium heat.
To this Yasapuja, as many of us know, Abhiram wrote a song about Avadhut Maharaj, and there it says that our life was boring and quite predictable. But then Avadhut Maharaj appears, not just appears, but break into our life, something like that.
Yes.
And when we were discussing about the words, about how we can show it in the video, there was one idea that actually, for me, describes Avadhut Maharaj like fully. All the time, like before Avadhut Maharaj is coming, we just live our normal, standard, ordinary life. We do our standard things, our routine. And then when he comes, just immediately you find yourself doing something extraordinary, something you have never done, something you had never, think about.
Imagine yourself doing before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And for me, almost all the time, it's quite difficult because when he comes, he has his own, extra kind of dimension of understanding the things. And he, when he shares his ideas, for us, it's very difficult to accept it, at that time. We need some time to accept it, actually. And I think it's like one of the biggest part of Avadhut Maharaj to see the thing, to see the world to have kind of extra perception of the world. And it means that, we have, like, as Ananga says, we have like endless and unlimited possibilities and projects and ideas. And even sometimes it's quite difficult to accept. It always has, good result. So, Jai Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj.
He sees opportunities where other people would not. Like Lalita mentioned before, and I remember in Petersburg that like the bus broke down going to the city, and what is it? It's next to the circus. He goes in and preaches to all the circus people. Then they fix the bus. He loads up the bus with all the circus people and brings them for darshan to Gurudev. So Gurudev's meeting with acrobats, trapeze people, clowns, that just becomes an opportunity for him. What is a failure or breakdown for someone else, he sees, well, I could turn this into something else. So that's a particular type of genius. And also it is said in Charitamritam, Krishna Shakti Bina Nahe Tara Pravartan. You can't have this type of success unless Krishna's Shakti, Krishna's in the background, sanctioning it and making it happen. It's not that you can will this on your own, but sometimes Krishna, he likes to serve his devotees, and if they're very sincere about, really they want to promote him, but Krishna's heart is melted by the sincere endeavor of the devotee, then he gives them the special power and the circumstances for this all to happen and manifest. So we've seen that. That's why Gurudev said some mysterious power works on his behalf, because he's sincere about what he's doing. It may be difficult for people in the beginning, just like I told that time with the 3,000 people there. Then Maharaj turned to me and he said, basically, I know what I'm doing, I have a plan and I know how to achieve things. So now you see where everything's working favorably, and we're getting this huge result. But it comes after a lot of also experimentation. And whatever money he would make from successful businesses is funneled into preaching, not into luxurious living or expensive paraphernalia or things like that, but always funneled into preaching. There were devotees who would, they'd say, they're like, oh, I want to be like Avadhut Maharaj, you know. I say, okay, then you start some successful businesses and take all the profits from that business and put it into festivals and preaching, right? Not keeping it for yourself, taking all the profits and you put that into preaching. Like in Kiev, every year we have that festival on the island, 25,000 people coming for what, 5 days. And we saw some people thought, oh, we'll take advantage of that. He's bringing all these people, we'll start a festival nearby. So they did that. After second day, they shut theirs and joined us. You know? And at that time also, Kiev was having one of these anniversaries of like Russian Orthodox Church. So the patriarch and different people come. And this was in the newspaper. This was not our propaganda. In the newspaper, they said, more people are going to the Hare Krishna festival on the island than to that Russian Orthodox festival, celebrating, you know, 2,000 years of Christianity. So extraordinary things happening. And Gurudev told me once, because as Lalita said, that name Avadhut is perfect. Someone who knew Gurudev in Kolkata said, if your name wasn't Govinda Maharaj, it could have been Avadhut Maharaj. And Gurudev was very happy with that man. That's someone who loved him very much. So he took it in a very positive way. And so then I think also for him to give this name to Avadhut Maharaj was perfectly selected because his ways are unorthodox and may be difficult to understand. Or he can, Avadhut also means one who can deal with polluted things and not become polluted. That's the specialty, the Avadhut. Can deal with the mundane, but not be influenced by it. So Maharaj is willing to handle so many mundane things. Why? Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchate. In service to promote the higher conception. Hare Krishna. All right. Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj Avirbhav Mahamahotsavatiti Ki Jai. Aviram Prabhu, can you come forward and begin singing? And we need a archak for Guru Puja. Hare Krishna.
What do we sing?
Sri Guru Charana Padma. Jai.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Guru Charana
Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaja ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaja Avirbhav Mahamahotsav ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaja Sri Vyas Puja ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivraja Kacharya Asatara Sabda Sri Srimad Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Ju ki Jai. Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Srila Sanatan Goswami Prabhu Tirobha Mahamahotapati ki Jai. Srila Vyasadev Avirbhav ki Jai. Sri Guru Purnima ki Jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Navadip Dham ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai. Sri Gupta Govardhan ki Jai. Sri Vijay Raman Prabhu ki Jai. Sri Tulsi Devi Dasi ki Jai. Ganga Devi, Jamuna Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Vishwavarena Srilesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Brinda ki Jai. Sannyasi Brinda ki Jai. Seva Brinda ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaja Avirbhav Maha Mahotsav Titi Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj Vyas Puja Titi Ki Jai Mahotsav Ki Jai Nitai Go Premanande. Avadhut Maharaj is also a good cook. So there's to be nice for some.